Mantis on attack.
I think it's definitely going to benefit Mantis heading on in.
I say Liquid.
I know you say Liquid. I'm going to actually say that I think that Mantis is probably going to take this, but my predictions have been awful today.
Well, I mean, we'll find out. To be fair,
I don't usually do predictions.
To be fair here, Mantis, since they did just kind of play this map.
Yeah.
Yesterday, of course, but technically still, they played it. That's experience, an immediate experience. Not something you have to look at stats for. It's just like, it's right there. They've played it very recently, and they're warmed up for this map. They know what they need to do, and they know what they need to avoid.
This is very funny.
Yes.
We've now seen 4 maps being played by Mantis FPS, and Monty has been banned every single time. Now, if you go back and rewatch a lot of the APAC qualifier footage, you know that Mantis does run a Montane, and do so quite well. And these other teams just don't want to deal with a powerful operator such as Monty. There'll be 2 shield bans, though, as Clash will be banned. It's kind of weird to see Clash get banned, because it's been, I feel like, so long since she was removed from a matchup.
Yeah, I mean, she's only just become relevant because of her SMG buff. So, at the beginning, she was relevant because she could swap really quickly and play very differently. But after they nerfed her, I mean, she fell out of favor. Now she's back in favor. Why? Because she's got an SMG pistol that's better than most.
Yeah. And she's quite strong. We've seen a number of teams put the shield on her back and whip around and try to kill people with the pistol. Very similar to what was it? The way that Psycho or Kamikaze played her on defense, I believe.
I think you're right.
I believe.
I'm gonna go ahead and give myself an educated guess token and say that you're right.
Oh, how do you earn those tokens?
They're self-generated, Parker.
You're telling me I could have these all along?
Yep.
I had no idea.
You can cash them in whenever you want. Educated guess. Team Liquid gonna win this match.
I know, and I think it's gonna be Mantis, personally.
Educated guess. Mantis gonna win this match. See how easy that works?
Generated one.
Yep. Generated and cashed it in just like that.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
But I don't know. I think this match is gonna be, or this map is gonna be one of those really impossible ones to predict, as most of the tournaments in this match have been. I'm gonna go with it. I'm sticking to it. I said it, and I'm holding true. So it wouldn't be surprise me, or
it wouldn't be surprise me.
I'm just gonna stop talking. Parker, you take it.
It's gonna be a Gym Master defense, which is a very strange site to start on. Now, the typical 3-rotation site of Clubhouse, for those that don't play Clubhouse often, will be Church, as it is usually one of the most defendable sites. Move on over to CCTV Cache, and then you move to Gym Master and hope that you win Gym Master. A lot of teams will win the first 2 and then stumble across the 3rd. And that's just usually what happens on Clubhouse. That'll give you, as defense, 4 of the 6 rounds. That's a pretty good number to sit at, and there are deviations here or there that can make a big difference. Interestingly enough, with the Ying and Monty bans, all 3 hard breachers will be available for Clubhouse, and that is going to have a pretty seismic impact on the way that the attackers are able to reshape the site, especially with Hibana and Thermite being a mainstay in order to take out the hatches. That means that teams can comfort pick onto Maverick if need be, but they're not required to do so. The very first kill going to go to Nova as he takes out Nesk, and one of the most potent fraggers in the whole world will be removed for at least the next 90 seconds, allowing the rest of Mantis to push in relatively unabated.
SexyCake going to be playing with the M870 shotgun on that Bandit. A very dangerous pick, but one that they have used in the past. In fact, in the previous map, I think Liquid expecting the aggression from Mantis and trying to counter it with shotguns. I don't necessarily agree or disagree with the logic, but it is going to make SexyCake slightly less powerful at range. That's definitely worth keeping an eye on. Just some nades, some throwables being dished out here by the attackers to clear out the ADSs. Still some roamers available to Team Liquid. Gohan, as the pulse underneath, could get C4 kills if he plays this right. A pretty easy one right in front of him, actually, if he goes for it. That Hibana is static, just watching a flank, so I could be, actually, no. It looks like on the balcony, is the Habana? No, the Habana is inside a cache. So they own outside. He misses the C4 on. That was Sweet Black. Curious decision making there from the Pulse.
Yeah. Tough decision to make as to whether or not there's actually somebody inside the building and whether you're actually able to land the shot or not. Sexy K could use the Jaeger's shotgun. He's going to use it on the Bandit this time around. And all of Mantis are just collapsing in on the site. But the M870 is pretty strong, and Sexy Cake will take out 2. Going for a 3rd, but he'll get caught as he vaults into the bathroom. And Envy Taylor will lock Gohan out of the site, giving Mantis their very first round, the very first round in particular of this match. But more importantly, that's the attackers taking one of essentially what you need is at least 3 to walk away with a win, quote unquote, on these sides.
I guess you're right, Parker.
So,
Mantis won. Good prediction.
thank you, Michael.
It's going to be Basement next after an unsuccessful defense of Jim. Trying to start on an offsite to catch their opponent off guard. It's a good policy in general. Interesting the way that it played out, though. Team Liquid lost too many players to picks. And they just could not hold out with the limited anchor potential. We also saw, I think, some poor calculation on the side of Gohan. That C4 from below. He could have gotten the Habana pretty easily. Followed that up with even a run out on the Sweet Black, and that's a 2-piece for him. But he decided to put all of his eggs in one basket, go for the C4, and he missed the C4. So, detonated it too early. It was too high in the sky. Unfortunate. Basement defense for Liquid, I think, is going to be a little bit more solid. This is the go-to site for most teams. It has a really good win rate as well for how often it is played, around 53%, 55% in that region. So, excellent site, to be certain.
5 seconds to insertion.
And the setup here, pretty standard fare for the fact that, or thanks to the fact that Mira is not banned, she will be huge on this site. So you can control the bottom of main stairs.
Yeah, the bans have actually been kind of odd here with Maestro being available and Amira being available.
The Clash ban, man.
The Clash ban does kind of take a little bit of flexibility away.
It's an interesting ban, and I get why you would do it. Clashes she can be a nuisance to some teams, but I do think that it limits the bans elsewhere. It was the same thing as when we saw Lion wasn't quarantined. He got banned all the time, and that limited the attacker bans, made the attackers much more potent.
And it really helped the teams that, you know, perma-banned Lion, one of which being G2.
Yeah, yeah.
Because then you have more freedom. I don't know, that's just the way I see it.
Freedom's a wonderful thing. Nova, having fragged quite a lot through this match, is no longer playing Thermite. He is currently on Jackal. Bit of a hybrid operator, all things considered, but generally a fragger.
A lot of teams use Jackal as an entry fragger, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's good. You have a good gun. You've got very minimal utility, and your utility is literally designed to hunt people down and kill them. So, I mean, you've got pretty pure of an entry fragger, all things considered.
Scouts and Key. Really great use here from Sweetback. He's going to hit the goo mine, and that's not a huge deal, just a little bit of damage done, but already a lot of control established thanks to that skeleton key usage on the main, or bottom of main stairs. That means it's unlikely anyone's going to be playing aggressive on main stairs. It's good to establish that knowledge early on.
Just gets hit with the goo mine though, and I'm kind of interested actually at the goo mine being positioned at the top of the stairs, because you know that there's likely going to be a buck there. I don't know if that was intended to be triggered later on, but you got to get out of there as quickly as you can in Paulo's case. So he will completely abandon blue. And you'll see one of the disorienting blasts from the lifeline as Nova makes his way down very slowly. Tries to evade anybody who might be playing on the other side of it. Bit of a bullet through a pre-fire onto the wall of Nova as he gives call-outs to the rest of his team, and that smoke should have dissipated at the doorway. The window gets opened up by the Zofia, Emilio, and Nova will try to look on in, and oh, he'll capitalize. Boy, will he ever. He gets traded out by Palu, gets absolutely flattened as the Jaeger is susceptible to a push from the back. That's the Zofia prone and down below, and oh, Palu will grab his second. push on over to the main stairs and look to see if somebody is going to come from that area. But no, there's Zig to grab one. Hetty's in. A double kill for the Thermite inside of Church. He'll pray that he'll be able to get this plant down. Sweet Black will try to keep control of the site as Hetty falls off of the plant. It's going to be a push around the corner, but Sweet Black looks the other way, gets taken out by Sexy Cake, who's been all shotgun all day. Whether Hetty's going to finish that one or not, it's Palu to get the very final kill. And Liquid will answer back. They failed on that very first site upstairs on Jim Master, a bit of a head scratcher, but Church is made a little bit easier, though still very close for comfort for Liquid.
Hetty really needed to stick the defuse plant there, but he faked it, got off because he didn't think his teammate was covering. What is that? Yeah, a bad call. But more importantly, that proves poor communication on Mantis FPS currently. The fact that Hetty was not aware his teammate was covering for the plant is huge. Something that they need to correct moving forward is that communication, allowing for a better play overall for the attackers. Nice try, though, from Hetty. The only 2 kills for his team, if I'm not mistaken. Team Liquid locking it out, and most of that coming off the back of Paula over by Blue. He pretty much single-handedly held on to that flank. No, not pretty much. He straight up single-handedly held onto that flank, and because of that, his team could focus all of their efforts on the Church wall push. It's a really good job to Hetty, or rather, Paula, holding on to Blue. Now, moving forward, even round count, and while Liquid had a pretty definitive win just now, they're going to go to their 3rd bomb site. It's going to be Jim again. Second time they've tried to defend Jim, and first time did not work out great. They seem pretty dead set on holding this site. They haven't got a cache just yet. Technically speaking, I believe Jim has the highest win rate of all of the sites, but it's also one of the lesser played. It's played just a little bit less than Cache, which also has one of the higher win rates.
Win rate for the defense or the attackers, Michael?
For the defenders.
Because there's a win rate for both.
Yeah, sorry. You're right, the defenders, but generally speaking, as for future reference, I should note that when talking about these things, it's going to be, if it's anything positive, so 50%, 60%, it's almost always the defenders.
Yeah.
In fact, I think the only site that doesn't have a positive win rate for the defenders, well, there's a few, but pretty much the worst one is actually on this map, and it's Bar. Yeah, it's got a 33% win rate of 3 tries.
33.3%.
Yeah, so only if we're going to be really specific, yes, Parker, 33.33333, etc.
When you look at this site, though, if you focus on if we can focus on what's going on right ahead of us.
Oh yeah, let's do that, Parker.
How long does it usually take a team to be able to wrestle the cache away from the defense? Because Paulu's in a position now where he's going to lose a tiny portion of that reinforced wall in front of him and just essentially await a 2-pronged push.
How long does it take, or how long should it take?
How long should it take? Because, I mean, it's been a minute and a half now.
A minute and a half is a solid amount of time for this control to be established for Mantis FPS. And they had a few extra seconds to spare. I'd say that was a decent take there into Cache. Team Liquid weren't holding on to it very firm, though, to be honest with you. And yeah, it's a bit of both. It's the fact that Liquid kind of forfeited it really quickly, but it's also Mantis FPS using their hard destruction here, which is pretty substantial.
Sweet Black is being foiled for just a second by the soft destruction capabilities of that wall and unable to get around it, even though he does have a skeleton key, but I think he's trying to be a little bit stealthier. There's been a bit of a pause from Mantis FPS because the wall inside of construction has been shot out. On both sides, actually. The wall leading into logistics office, as well as the wall that just leads into construction from Cache. It's going to give some thoughts to Mantis as they will head back onto their drones and try to essentially suss out where the rest of Liquid is playing. Unless there's a flank watch, though, Mantis might be in troubling position because Palu has made his way downstairs. And there's an opportunity to get back to that site. With Ness playing on the main stairs as well, he could be assisted by his teammate. I would wager that Sexy Cake on that Bandit will be running the M870 inside of the bathroom and just essentially wait and greet anybody who possibly decides to push on in. Zig covering down inside of logistics office. He's got an evil eye to help him should somebody drop from the hatch above. There's going to be a body up there. It's a Hibana, and Zig will get flashed as Nova comes on in. And it's an easy very first kill, but it comes with 20 seconds left. Gohan immediately refrags, goes for the buck. He'll put one in the chest. It's a big kill for Gohan. Plant going down from Hetty as Envy Taylor picks up a kill, but Nesk will trade it off. Neelio trying to do his best to stop Gohan as Nesk eliminates Hetty. Diffuser goes down, and not, rather, dropped, and Neilio doesn't have the time to pick it up and go for the plant. Liquid will persevere, just simply wait it out, and in the dying seconds, Heady's inability to get that plant down as the timer strikes to 0 before he loses his life as they're undoing. Jim goes in hand to Team Liquid, setting us up for a bar stock or a cash CCTV defense for the final rotation of Liquid before Church unlocks.
Bar stock or CCTV?
I know it's funny to you, Michael, but it's still a sight.
Yeah, it's just a bad sight. So, CCTV going to be held here from Team Liquid, and that Jim hold, pretty solid. A nice try. I like the way that Mantis took their way into Jim. They had a very specific focus on that after they took control of Cash, and I understand why they did that. They wanted to eliminate the long angle from Cash into Jim, but they didn't do enough with the control that they had at their disposal. It would have been nice to see them have a little bit more manpower when actually going for the push into sight. Thanks to Team Liquid getting a little bit aggressive and isolating players and eliminating them one by one, they were able to rack up that man count, or body count, I suppose.
Whichever you'd like.
Man advantage.
Whichever you'd like.
You want me to say another one, and you could say whichever one you like?
Whichever one you'd like. I mean, you knew I was going to say it anyway. I don't know why you're surprised.
Team Liquid going for a lot of information as well. As you can see, Echo is banned. They brought 3 info ops aside from him. It's the Maestro, the Valkyrie, and the Mira. A safe bet usually, especially against Latin American teams, doesn't really matter which, is to ban the Valkyrie, as they will use that Valkyrie so well. And if you don't, make sure you bring IQ. But there's no IQ here on Mantis FPS's side, and they are going to feel the pain because of that. And V. Taylor using Maverick going to be of great assistance in opening up this wall. I think he's going to go for the mirror window first, maybe? He's just trying to bait somebody to opening it for him?
Ah, the old Serenity 17 YouTube trick, I see.
Get on cameras in front of mirror windows?
Stand in front of it, get on cameras, then immediately hop off. But no, I think he was trying to test if Sexy Cake was there to go for a bandit trick. I think that's what he was attempting to do, and you saw Sexy Cake push on up as if the bandit was going to, indulge him in what he was looking for. Maverick is very, very strong on this site, and the triple hard breach of Mantis means that if they play their cards right, there should be very minimal impediments to getting into the site for all of Mantis's roster.
Bomb located by attackers.
You can take out the construction wall, Michael. You can take out the jacuzzi wall. Well, the jacuzzi walls aren't actually opened up.
They did that, Parker.
Looks like they did it with the buck, Michael.
We did that.
They did indeed already do that, Michael. So now you can take construction, which is usually where a lot of teams are going to come from if they don't push from garage or they don't try to take that CCTV wall.
Which looks like it's going to be the plan from Mantis is CCTV wall. You know, it's a really powerful thing to have open, but it's like teams defending cash plan around that wall being opened at this point. And considering the bandit tricking is still there, not being countered by the Maverick, it doesn't seem like Mantis really care about opening it right now. As you can see, full control of office here for Mantis FPS. They've got a long angle into the A bomb site. Zig playing behind the bomb chassis itself, and Nesk there to support him through the rotation hole. Mirror window on the construction wall is going to be very difficult to deal with, but from below, Sweet Black is going to use his Buck skeleton key to delete that mirror window and the bandit batteries, allowing for a nice big hole that the attackers can use to enter into A.
It's a bit heartbreaking that that grenade from Sweet Black is going to miss, looking for a second to possibly get it, and no, it gets underthrown just a little bit too much. It looked like it was Nesk who was going to be the recipient of that fun bag of surprises from below. Nova will get kill number 1 onto Zig, as Nesk is just a shadow of himself and will need to play a little bit more conservatively. He's moved on over to the top of red. He'll just sit patiently and wait to see if there's a push coming in through construction. We saw that the Hibana was able to open up construction. Another side of that mirror window, and Nesk doesn't need much HP, grabs one, Palu gets out Nova, and Envy and Sweet Black will answer back. 3v2 and just small caliber-based destruction. One body's gonna push on in, and oh, Envy Taylor slaps Nesk down, and he grabs yet another kill onto Palu. What a performance by Mantis to grab cash in the dying seconds, using his speed, violence, and I guess a little bit of momentum there, Michael. Both teams have 2 rounds with 2 still remaining. Very close for
Yes,
Liquid, very close rather for Mantis to be able to say that they walked away with a victory on this side. If they can pick up one more round, that's a win on Clubhouse.
Speed, violence, momentum is right, Parker. And it was a nice try from Team Liquid, sure, but they forgot to dip, duck, dive, and dodge, and they just couldn't get away from the bullets raining down from Mantis FPS. It really did come down to the brawl, though. And that's one of those things that, yeah, okay. It was a good call, I think, for Mantis to stray away from the server wall. That server wall has hit and miss results. Hit and miss at best. And again, teams on defense plan around it being opened up. I really do like that Mantis decided to commit solely to taking from construction, because that frag power from Mantis FPS altogether in a ball thrown at the enemy, it's really potent.
Just the way you said that, sorry.
Potent?
No, just never mind.
The whole thing?
The whole thing.
Really? Wow.
Please continue, Michael.
Wow.
10 seconds to insertion.
Wow. Wow.
5 seconds
Wow,
to insertion.
from Mantis in that round. And Team Liquid will go back to the basement. It was the first site that they managed to win. And they get to go back to it now that we're 3 rounds away from that result.
I think this is as good as you could have expected for Mantis here. I think they've been a little confused by some things that they've seen from Liquid, and they've taken a little bit longer to be able to get their footing under them. Envy Taylor's ability to flex from this Ash onto the Maverick is obviously a pretty big advantage for this team, all things considered. You know, the M4 that comes on Maverick is a pretty good gun, all things considered. He's still a 3-speed, Michael. He's got utility. He's got probably better utility than Ash, even though that blowtorch has a very different purpose. So, Envy Taylor seeing, I guess, shadowy forms, thinking that there's a goo mine in front of him, but
No,
there's not.
there's not.
There's one on the top of the stairs that he got, though.
Sweet Black is up there. There's a pretty solid roam clear here so far from Mantis FPS. They're just trying to make sure that there's no one upstairs, and they have established that as the case. There you go. Got that Legion trap that you're talking about, the goo mine. Now that they have control of the 2 top floors, they're going to start opening up the drop downs, but oh, look at that, an impact trick. Surprise, surprise. And some of the X-Heroes will go off. The second set will not, and wow, doubling down. So the solution, in case you were wondering, to impact tricking on the kitchen dropdown is to bring Maverick.
Or Buck the floor around it.
Yeah, you can buck the floor around it, and then you can push them back. But I'd say generally, Maverick is a really safe solution. Sometimes he'll get shot, but if you play it right, he won't.
I mean, there's a lot of teams who open up that small part next to the cart.
Yeah, and then they'll try to shoot.
And then they'll try to shoot you, and then Mavericks can unfortunately be.
We've seen it.
Yeah, we've seen it a couple times.
Yeah, but there's a way to do that, or a way to open the drop down where you're not going to die to that little part next to the cart.
Yeah.
But hey, whatever. You can also just use all of your X-Heroes. It's no problem.
Possible.
It's exactly what they did. They opened up that kitchen drop down, and now they have control of above B.
I mean, there's still opportunity for you to put those exothermic charges on the church wall, possibly on dirt, wherever you think it might go. First casualty is Sweet Black. He meets his fate at the hands of a C4 just on the main stairs. That's well tossed by Zig. If not tossed, definitely pre-placed.
No, I think it must have been tossed. But how did he get it there?
Buck was above.
Yeah, I don't know. Was it?
It had to have been pre-placed.
Maybe he could have vaulted the wall.
Which wall, Michael?
He could have vaulted. No, he couldn't have vaulted. It's too high.
Yes.
Gosh, I don't know.
The high jump, Michael.
Gohan's going to take down Envy Taylor, and Nesk as well on Tanilio, so Team Liquid in full control. Nova gets the first kill for his team. He's going to look for a second, but not land it. The diffuser gets planted regardless, right next to him. He'll be down by a Legion Trap, and it's all a clean sweep for Team Liquid. Only one player lost in the process of retaking into Arsenal.
This got a little scary there with Nova in the position that he was in. Definitely looked like he could have possibly held off while the plant cover was going, or the cover for the plant was going down, but not to be the case. It was well read by Liquid, tossing out the toxic canister to shut them down. And then it was just simply a 2v4. Trying to hold down a 2v4 with minimal cover, a tiny magazine in the Type 89. Almost an impossible task, Michael. So there you have it. Liquid will need to win this round in order to say that they did a great job emerging on this half. Victory for Mantis FPS would be a 3-3 score differential heading into the second half. Keep in mind that the defense have a mammoth advantage here. You want to run it up as the defenders. Already Liquid have kind of failed to set a wider berth or to establish a wider berth between them and the #1 team in Korea.
I think if Mantis FPS can take this one, then we're looking down the barrel of a map 3. But Team Liquid have been playing pretty well. The last time they defended Cash, it really did just come down to individual frag power. NVTaylor had a monster of a round on their last Cash defense. So I think there's a lot of potential for Team Liquid to shut down the play from Mantis. And also, this is really important. If Mantis commits to a construction take again, I'm sure that Liquid is going to be able to adjust to hold that. It was a really masterful construction take from Mantis last time we were here. They came from below, they opened up the bandit batteries in the mirror windows facing into construction on the A wall. After they did that, they opened the A wall. Then it was a well-placed utility from the attackers to push into Cash. Once they had dislodged the player who was playing behind the bomb chassis using the buck from below, it was a pretty easy take because all of those defenders who were supposed to be anchoring inside of Cash were, well, mobile. Caught into transition, a lot of easy frags for Mantis. But you gotta imagine Liquid's gonna adjust. Maybe play somebody downstairs in stock, try to counter the way that Mantis FPS took this last time.
I mean, once again, the story for Liquid was very similar to what we saw in Bank. Two disconnected.
Yeah.
Not playing as a team, not playing as a unit. Mantis playing as a unit and clobbering Liquid.
I was wrong, by the way. No adjustment here. Yeah, we've got a Maverick underneath Cash. So you don't need to play underneath, I guess, if there's no buck.
Right.
So that's bad. I mean, he can definitely open things up with his rifle, but not quite this way that nades and skeleton key are going to work. And definitely a huge disadvantage that they did not bring the buck on Mantis FPS. I find often that the operator selection for Mantis is one of their, I think that's probably one of their greatest flaws. They tend not to have the right tool for the job pretty frequently. As you can see, Mantis have actually decided to bring the Maverick, possibly to attack through the server wall, is my assumption here. But they haven't committed to that just yet. In fact, is Maverick up Cash stairs right now? No, okay, he's underneath in stock. That was a little worrisome for a second. Just a waiting game here for Mantis. Again, I think the strategy is to attack probably from construction, considering this situation. They're going to use a breach round to take care of the bandit batteries. Nova's now going to open up the wall into A, and so establish the control that they had the last time they were here. Mantis are in a good form, but there's 5 defenders on Liquid still, and that's going to be hard to push into.
I mean, you've still got, as I mentioned before, this triple threat of hard breachers, which is a rarity to see on a lot of maps, but can work very well on Clubhouse. Not really doable on Bank. It's overkill on a lot of places, but CCTV Cache, it's applied very well. And I mean, as long as you can hold down the site and establish a flank watch, it's going to be very difficult for anybody on Liquid to be able to retake, which is exactly what Nesk is looking to do. He's inside a garage, storage just over top of blue. He's waiting to head up red stairs, and he's got 2 bodies watching him. He's going to get pushed from the ash, bobbing up and down, but Sweet Black gets shut down as Nova picks up 2 kills on site. Right amidst the fray, Hetty will go for a plan, and Gohan will need to make sure that there's minimal coverage. NVTaylor with 2 of his own, and Nesk will need to perform a miracle. He's not going anywhere, though, and NVTaylor will keep this even at 3-3. It's a big victory for Mantis FPS to walk away on attack, tied with Liquid. Changing sides, oh boy, the Latin America team struggling, and might struggle more when they have to go on to attack on Clubhouse.
Hey man, at this point I'm guessing you were right. That's technically a 1-1 for Mantis FPS. Significant victory at that. Taking 3 attacking rounds. It's going to be a huge recovery feat if Team Liquid can make it happen, but at this point it looks like we're going to map number 3. Still early days, suppose. Only halfway through this one, but it certainly does look like a map number 3. Buck, 6 picked off of into a Twitch, and that's going to be a powerful operator here if there were a Mira, and there is not.
Weird flex, but okay.
What?
The 6 pick. Weird flex, but okay.
Yeah. I said flex onto a...
You mentioned that. Yeah, you did. You said there's no Mira, and there was a Twitch, so I said weird flex, but okay.
But okay.
See, Michael, I believe that's called a meme, and I believe the kids do that from time to time. They say things like that. It's hip and relevant, which I try to be so desperately.
Okay. How old are you?
78 years old.
10 seconds remaining.
Damn. I'm only 73.
Deceptively old.
5 seconds to insertion.
It's church defense. Unsurprising, all things considered, to start off there.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
There was some
Attackers are
suspect
moving out to
site
locate a bomb and defuse it.
defenses, in my opinion, on that Immortals Rogue matchup. I know you got a first-hand account of it, but yeah, it was definitely.
It was a weird match, Parker.
Was it, Michael?
It was a very weird match for both teams, and I think it's done now, and we should focus on this one. But mostly because it was a weird match, and I don't want to recollect right this second.
Oh my gosh, Michael, you can't say things are weird. That's rude.
Is it? I'd say it's the polite way of putting it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the big flaw here for Liquid, and the reason that this is, well, obviously the reason we are where we are is because Liquid failed to defend Cache twice. And why did they fail? Well, they didn't really have a hold strategy for a construction push. That's it. Not enough manpower, not enough muscle facing towards construction. And that's why we find ourselves in such a, really, I think, a bad situation for Liquid.
Surprisingly, Hetty's already taken some damage here.
About to say the same thing, yeah.
Were you about to say that?
I don't know how he took that damage.
To say it.
Surprisingly, Hetty has taken some damage here.
That's weird. I was going to say the same thing.
And I'm not entirely sure how he took that damage. Maybe a Twitch drone, but I don't know. That would have been a lot of zaps, to be honest.
That looks like 60. That looks like 40 damage.
Yeah, it's very unlikely that it was a Twitch drone, but it's possible. We've seen that before.
I think it's more likely that there was probably some team damage done. That would be my guess.
Could be like an impact or something along those lines. Yeah. Well, it's done now, and with Team Liquid pushing their way down main stairs, they're just looking to get some control. Legion Trap, of course, going to be an impediment.
And the thing with NV Taylor is that he's going to continuously generate these for the next minute and a bit, and it's going to cut down the narrow avenues you have to get into the site even more. A noticeable absence of Thatcher from Liquid's composition so many times as Gohan relies so heavily on that Twitch, and will do so largely because of the F2. There goes Nova. Gets absolutely shredded by the FAMAS. Ness comes very close to landing a kill of his own, but Hetty is able to take him out, and it's a nice, suitable counterpunch to allow the smoke to actually break free.
He's gonna run upstairs on the deep roam. He will catch an enemy off guard. That's Sexy Cake, so that's 3 for Hetty. Having a really great round so far. He will be right above Gohan, who has been marked. No ace for him, though, as Nelia will finish off Gohan. Hetty gets the last one, though, in a trade, so 4K all the same, and a great round overall from the smoke. A Mantis FPS Hetty.
They'll take the lead. Unsurprising, like we said, when we switch sides on here.
Yep. When we switched sides, it was a 3-3. The prediction shifted. Mantis F should be able to take this one and push us to map number 3. CCTV cache room next.
No gym. Unsurprising.
For Mantis FPS. Yeah, I mean, cache and basement are the go-to sites from most teams.
I feel like the big struggle that teams have with Gym Master is that once you lose control, teams just don't know how to adapt because you get kind of boxed in, right? Can't really rotate through logistics office because there's an open hatch that usually is going to be guarded depending on man count. You're not going to be able to push in through construction because usually that's been opened up, and if not, there's a window in there and somebody might be watching it. It's difficult for you to be able to rotate over to CCTV, even though you can pick somebody off of the windows over on Gym or Master because there's usually somebody watching it, maybe from the roof above. You don't really know. Jacuzzi being opened up, and with usually the typical defender setup will open up some of the wall inside a bathroom, makes it very difficult for you to rotate out of there as well. There's just not a lot of comfortable places to sit for a lot of teams. So if the attackers are swift to be able to crack open the nut that is Gym and Master, you get left with very little safe havens, or few safe havens, for you to sit with any reliability.
Yeah,
you just have nowhere to go.
There's not a lot of anchor positions, and that's the reason, it's the same reason why Team Liquid struggled on cache. I mean, it's shared between the two sides. Team Liquid, as soon as being pushed away from Cash, they had no way to repel the attackers who were pushing in from construction, as we discussed earlier. So yeah, it sometimes just comes down to it being a shallow site. I mean, it's often been the case for many different maps, and that's always something the attackers are trying to play angles into, pushing people into positions where they just can't retake, using crossfires or just brute force. And in the case of a Cash take, for example, from construction, it's brute force. Here, Liquid are not going for a construction push. They are going to opt for the other option, which is CCTV server wall. It also does require you taking into garage, though, and it's going to be a difficult thing to pull off. Twitch drone going to be taken out there. Perspective is a weird thing in Siege. He could see that drone clear as day.
Yeah.
But yeah.
For those, that, by the way, that are wondering why everybody is using the exact same uniform, it's because...
You could see his leg!
What? With Nesk? Nesk? Why didn't he shoot it? Maybe it was the uniform.
No, I think the mirror is
camouflage.
I think the mirror is actually playing a default uniform or something along those lines. But yeah, carry on your thought.
I was saying about the uniforms, or that number one makes it extremely hard to distinguish what operator is. There have actually been times where we have been confused by these uniforms because the silhouettes look very different. Yeah, and there's Jaeger can look similar to Doc, etc., so on and so forth, and they tend to blend into a lot of walls as well.
Yeah, I think that's really important about Siege is that we don't have easily identifiable silhouettes. Like the operators, yeah, they have distinct descriptions, or like if you look at them, yeah, you can tell, but you have to really look sometimes. And when you're changing aesthetics like uniforms and headgear all the time, and you can put them into ones that blend into the environment very well, it can not only make it difficult to identify the operator, but also see the operator in general. So it can be tricky in Siege, but we skipped over it. Hetty got picked off by Nesk, so he eventually did land that shot that we were critiquing him for not landing immediately.
He might not have been looking in that particular way. You know.
Yeah, we don't have the eye tracker on.
Wasn't really anticipating that. So this hold here at the top of Red Stairs has two bodies from Mantis FPS. Zig is going to get downed, and there also goes the diffuser, as somebody trying to revive one of the lone members from Liquid. Nelio sprinting on in, he's amidst the smoke, will look to push on out, but Zig picked up. And a little bit of revenge, he'll down Nelio. Another body will fall as Envy Taylor goes out to Liquid. And I don't know what it is. It's Thermite doing great work on both sides for both teams. Ness takes out Nova after getting kill number one. And Zig going for a successful defuse plant with Sweet Black just biding his time downstairs in stock, waiting to see if there's going to be anybody. He was so close to being able to pull the trigger when shutting Zig down, but as the smoke tries to get back to site, it'll be 3 kills from Nesk to carry the round onwards. And once again, we will be all tied up. These two teams unable to shake each other no matter how good they do, Michael. It's Nesk sealing the deal with the diffuser down. It's actually been a while since we've seen a successful diffuser get planted. And look at that. Back to a tie.
That's one of those moments when, if you're Sweet Black, you review the VOD when you're watching it back and you see that you were so close to denying the plant. That's going to suck when he eventually does see that. But it was a nice try, and a better attack from Team Liquid. The way that they coordinated that was impressive. I am very confused by the fact that the wall into Cash was opened so easily. I'm not sure if that was actually the defenders opening it, or if the attacking team managed that one. But no matter how you look at it, that wall between A and B being opened gave 2 free kills to Zig. Before that, Nesk got a free kill onto the Mira into the hallway, playing the rappel angle on the south side of the balcony. That's a very common angle to be played. So 2 different angles giving 3 free kills to Liquid because Mantis just peeked them unknowingly. And yeah, at no point was it a challenge. No one from Mantis was trying to take those fights. They just were not aware of the angles that they were exposed to. And that's a little bit disheartening to see. That's lack of game sense in that round for Mantis FPS in general. Yeah, and in a 2 versus 5, it's unlikely you're going to bring it back.
So how do you rectify that issue on a Cash defense? Because we're back here now for Mantis.
I mean, I'd say some reinforcements in different locations there, maybe between the sites, or if it was opened by the defenders, don't do that. If it was opened by the attackers, some ADSs well placed could counter that. Of course, you're not going to be able to hold the server wall, but because of Maverick, but you can do your best to set up server to be a trap enemies can fall into. I mean, we've seen some really ingenious strategies and that exact mentality from many different teams, like, for example, Reciprocity. The way that they set themselves up here on this site with Mira, who is unbanned currently, is to make server a trap. And it has mixed results. I'm not going to say it's a perfect strategy, but with the way that Liquid are playing right now, it might be just the trick to solve the problem that is Liquid winning these attacks onto Cash when they really shouldn't be.
Actually kind of surprised with how little garage control we've also seen here on this site. Remember when we first started to see Cash and CCTV get played? Usually there would be quite a tussle over that garage upstairs and the catwalk. There hasn't been that much. I mean, there's no Maestro ban. We've actually seen a startling lack of Maestro on Mantis' side of things.
That's true, yeah.
It's kind of odd because he's so powerful on this site in particular.
Mantis, again, their operator selection is probably the most off thing about that team. They've got so much skill and really great synergy, but their operator selection tends to be a little bit weird.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And that rigidity, that lack of flexibility, as you've noted, and the penchant for Mantis to be able to take fights is a major downfall of theirs. Much credit needs to be praised, though, given to them, and they need to be praised for this, is that they've done better to drone. Yeah. They have been better at collecting, disseminating information to the rest of their teammates. This is a possible run out being primed from Nova at the top of blue stairs, waiting to see. There is a Valkyrie camera actually out there. It doesn't look like there's anybody watching.
Yeah, this Valkyrie cam could be really influential.
I don't know if he can see through the trash bags. I don't know if that is client-sided or not.
He actually missed it. It's supposed to land on the trash bags. We've seen that one a few times before. The trash bags are a set prop in this map, but the Mira, I think, is going to be one of the more influential things. The Valkyrie cam outside is going to be able to call the push, yeah. But the Mira in sight, I want to know if they have a Mira facing from Cash to server. That's my real question.
Nova might have been spotted there, by the way.
They did, but it's been broken. Look at that.
So here's your execute, but a toxic canister will greet them. A smoke grenade gets tossed in from the attackers on either side.
Oh!
2 for the price of 1 from Hetty. As Gohan will try to give his own with 2. You know, Sweet Black and then Hetty. Nesk inhaling a lot of those toxic canisters. Still, the damage will tick away as he pulls a goo mine out of his foot. Nelio under siege now as he's just trying to hold off multiple angles. The Legion of Envy Taylor gets pulled on into the site. And it's a defuse plant that was going down from Gohan that gets aborted. Apollo with 2 and the Nesk clean up. Liquid makes that round end quickly after the killing starts. And they'll regain the lead. Would you look at that? And they're only 2 rounds away, Michael, from sealing Mantis' fate and ending their run here through the group stages.
So we're going to have a tactical pause by Mantis, and they're going to try and assess how to move forward. So Parker, that Cash defense, you asked me how to change it. Second time around here, it's pretty clear what's going on. Team Liquid are opening up the wall into Cash, and after they've got the server wall open, that creates such an easy angle for them to dictate both of the bomb sites. I think, honestly, the solution is one thing. Reinforce the wall that's getting opened up, and then put your mirror window on it. Because they've been putting the mirror window there every time, but the wall left unreinforced, I mean, it's ineffectual. I think we've also been seeing Twitch from Gohan pretty much every single round. So you've got to protect that mirror window. Maybe bring a mute, some kind of tool to assist you in denying the Twitch drones. Of course, mute's not a perfect solution, but you've got to do something to keep control of server. Not necessarily of server directly, but at least by proxy. Holding inside of Cash is essential, and when you've got an angle that's being opened up from the balcony all the way into Cash, and there's nothing you can do to contest it as a defender, it's tricky, man. I mean, we saw the Jaeger in that round do his darndest to use a shield on the actual hard wall on that build or on that floor to hold out, but it just wasn't enough. Well, they get to go back down to the basement, and I think this is definitely going to be very good for Mantis FPS. It'll probably bring them up to that 5-5, but the tricky thing is that if they can't win anything other than basement, which they have yet to do, then it's not going to matter. Team Liquid will be able to take this. There's not been a try of Jim yet, though, from Mantis FPS, so.
No, it was a Church victory and then 2 losses to Team Liquid on Cash, and now back down to Church you go.
Oh no, Mantis FPS are going for that pre-placed C4, it looks like, again. Or at least going for the camera that enables the pre-placed C4 in the kitchen hallway.
Pre-play C4s are a risky gambit because, I mean, they make noise, right?
It's worked for Mantis once before, yesterday, but I think it's predictable at this point. I doubt they're going to actually go for it. He might just... I mean, maybe.
You never really know. There's one Valkyrie camera down. Gohan might be able to find the other if he sees it, but no, it's tucked in behind that exit sign, I believe.
Yeah, it is, and it's a difficult one to spot. It's a pretty common one, but it's still hard to spot, and people often overlook it.
I wouldn't say it's common now. I would have said that it was much more common way back. And yeah, it's fallen out of vogue.
It is definitely an older one. That's fair enough, but as you say, falling out of vogue, I mean, it's the cyclical meta. It just is whatever is least expected is most effective in certain situations like Valkyrie camps.
I should have said falling out of favor. It's not in vogue. I mashed the idioms.
Did you mash the idioms, Parker? You've been mashing a lot of idioms recently. There's the pre-play C4.
Missed.
It missed, yeah. So it's a bad call. A little too early there for Mantis FPS. Unfortunate if you're a Mantis fan. Very fortunate if you're a Liquid fan.
Yikes. Yeah. So a bit of a scare for Liquid as that C4 does go off, doesn't claim anybody. Double hard breach from Liquid will allow them to crack open the site. If there's any impact tricking from Envy Taylor or Heady, that could possibly be the undoing of any hard breach that goes on any of the hatches. Now, with Envy sustaining quite a bit of damage over the last 10 seconds or so, last 5 seconds, I would suspect that he probably tried to impact trick it and somebody was watching. There's soft destruction from Team Liquid in both the Ash as well as Palu holding on to that secondary shotgun. So he could have opened up some of the floor upstairs and kitchen and allowed the Hibana to do good work. But we don't really know just yet. The signature mark of Liquid is Nesk literally just waiting for the sound of somebody on the team to say push on in. The Valkyrie will peek out. Whoa, beautiful shot. Nesk, here's your chair, take a seat. Sweet Black, what a marvelous kill onto Nesk, as Gohan's just gonna miss the Jaeger peeking on out.
Didn't even take any damage there. And with Gohan missing his mark inside of blue, this is looking like a pretty solid defense for Mantis FPS. Legion Trap's gonna give away Gohan's intention. He cannot take it out. Nova will secure the kill. And here we go. 2 up for Mantis. Make that 3, make that 4, and it's all of them. A complete sweep and a perfect round for Mantis FPS on the basement. They might not be able to win anywhere else on defense, but they're quite convincing on the basement.
So now we'll move back to Cash, or either Gym Master. And are we going to see Jim? There we go. Jim.
I think that makes sense.
It does. I mean, you tried Cash twice, didn't go anywhere. Go over to Jim. Go over to the master bedroom.
Yeah.
Oh, what a fake out.
What does he fake? What did I miss?
You're going back to CCTV Cash.
Oh, okay.
I'd already wrote Jim in my notebook.
Yeah, I wrote Jim in my notebook too.
I also wrote Jim in my New Year's resolutions, and I guess that didn't help at all, Michael.
I didn't do that. And also quite literally didn't do that. So. That's pretty nice.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, that's nice.
It is, isn't it? All right. So you go over to Cash CCTV. Everything fell apart because the ability to hold control of that CCTV wall is all but impossible when that triple threat of hard breachers is brought.
Will Mantis reinforce the wall between sites and put a mirror window on? Or are they just going to go for, hey, they're doing it! They're doing it, Parker!
They're doing it, Michael.
They're doing it. So they're going to reinforce it, then put a mirror window on it. Here's the tricky thing. Twitch is still a thing. Think twice there. Here's the tricky deal. Because Twitch is in play, the drones can open up the mirror window. And while it is much safer from potentially Ash charges, it's still very exposed. Gohan is a very good Twitch as well. An excellent Twitch, I would say. And if his drones are allowed to make their way up Cache stairs or through construction to get that mirror window, it will have the same effect in all likelihood that the Ash charge has been having on that wall. Not quite as potent, but a similar effect at the very least.
Gohan's often overshadowed by the fact that he was on a team with one of the best Twitches in all of the region. Possibly one of the best Twitches in the world on Astro at the time.
True.
Astro has been moved off and is obviously playing a different role on FaZe still. And after Gohan made his departure from his team, he's found new life doing IGL work. And then, of course, also being able to frag quite well on Liquid's side of things. Very rhythmic. 45 seconds in, you've already got the wall open into CCTV. And now you can go onto drones and continue to do the rest of the work and see exactly where Mantis has retreated to, as you'll have to flush them out one by one in order to pick them off. Nesk is looking to try and push into Garage, which makes a lot of sense. That's where Nesk has been quite a bit. There's a body of Mantis just laying in wait at the top of the Garage, or so it would appear. And Nova is downstairs inside of Oil Pit, primed and ready with a Nitro Cell to toss on up.
It's a good position if your teammates can coordinate well with you. The information, though, there's only a Mira, and other than that, you're working with default cameras. It's very dangerous. Nesk looking to get the angle onto the smoke and catwalk. Again, tricky angle to achieve, but he hasn't moved. He's just been on cameras this whole time. I'm guessing using default cam again, but hasn't moved even slightly. Aware that he doesn't need to. He just needs to waste time, which is so far been a successful operation for Mantis FPS, as plenty of time is gone. Nitro Cell expended by the Bandit, it seems, and completely useless, not accomplishing much of anything.
Nesk is looking, oh, the wrong way, and it was Sweet Black. We got the beautiful shot on the Nest last time around, but there will be some repayment here, and a bit of redemption and retribution, almost. You also lose Nova. Another great kill from Palu. The soft wall getting opened up. I don't know exactly what Neilio was thinking there with very limited information. There's no Valkyrie on the board. And
I don't think he was.
he wasn't really thinking much at all. Envy Taylor picks up 2 kills on a Gohan and Sexy Cake, but still a lead for Liquid for the time being. There's a smoke that's going to go off, and Liquid will sprint on in. There's a C4 that gets tossed out, though, and this could be a big deal, but no, Nesk shuts it down, and it's another kill for the Ash. What a tremendous play from Nesk to move his team onto match point and a 4K on the round, proving that utility isn't necessarily all that matters when your only real utility is killing everything that moves.
That C4 from the Mira might have been too far, it might have been just right, but that's not the point that I'm going to get at. The point is, he delayed detonating it, allowing Nesk to rush into cache and eliminate him. Curious call there. I'm guessing he was trying to fight back against Nesk first, but he second-guessed that decision in the middle of the engagement.
I actually think he just got caught as he was putting his phone away, or just as he was pulling his phone out.
I mean,
we'd have to go to instant replay, Michael.
I'm pretty sure he delayed for about half a second.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, but of course that's not a substantial amount of time. It could have been the difference between him getting a kill or two or not. And that aside, it would not have changed the outcome of the round, period. Nesk still would have gotten both of those kills. And sure, the plant might not have gone down, but who cares? So, Team Liquid, match point, series point, 6-5.
Elimination point for Mantis as well.
Yeah, so if they lose, they're gone. It's done. Nesk on 14 kills. Really standing up here, trying to give Liquid the best chance possible and having an excellent match. It's going to be a Gym Master defense for the last try here for Mantis. They can make more tries, but they have to win this round to get to OT for that to happen. No more chances after this.
We have a bit of an update for everybody as well. So spoilers inbound! Evil Geniuses are up 1-0 over Nora Rango. End spoiler, that's it.
Okay.
EG is one round away, or one map away rather, from securing their spot. As that's the final. The winner's bracket has gone so fast.
It has.
The winner's bracket is almost done, and we could be an entire map behind here on the B stream. I don't know what it is with the B stream, Michael.
Slow.
The B stream be late to the party.
Just not going to respond.
That one was so bad. So we still have a stream in Penta after this.
Yes.
That one was bad. I'm sorry. I'm genuinely sorry. I apologize. I thoroughly and unreservedly apologize.
It's okay.
Thank you.
Forgive you, Parker.
Thank you very much. All right, Michael. Possible final round, or we'll see overtime. Liquid was able to dig deep and stave off overtime on Bank. Will we see similar circumstances here as Nesk is on committed run-out duty? There goes the jacuzzi wall. Opened up.
It certainly seems like Liquid's in the driver's seat right now, but here's the big factor. We're defending Jim as Mantis FPS, and they've never done that before. So, in the middle of the unknown, Mantis FPS could flourish. That's on them. Liquid are clearing out from server and cache, And they've already established there are no roamers at that location. Once they have that control, they're going to have a good cover of all the different exits to this site. Now here's the tricky thing. 1 minute left for Liquid. So they've spent a lot of time doing a lot of nothing in this round.
I'm very surprised why Nesk is watching an angle where it looks like Sexy Cake is also watching.
I think he's on the balcony.
He could be on the other side of it.
And opening holes in the wall.
Yeah.
But either way, it's very inefficient droning from Liquid to not know that that is clear.
I was going to say, where exactly are Mantis then? They must have first floor presence. No, they've got Neilio in sight, Sweet Black is below, Logistics Office has NV Taylor.
Nobody's droning here for Liquid. They don't know Cash is clear still, and there's 40 seconds left.
Yeah, and you got to hurry. You got to pick it up, Team Liquid. Get going at this point. Mantis is gaining an advantage, and Mantis, for their fans, they're looking to just simply hold on. There goes Ness to take out Sweet Black as Gohan circles on in, but he doesn't check as NV Taylor and Eddie pick up a pair, and it'll be an advantage that favors Mantis. Ness now will have to go up the main stairs as Sexy Cake eliminates Eddie. A sprint in from Zig, answered by NV Taylor. And Ness will alert anybody to his position as he hits the barbed wire. He might have 2 bodies in front of him, as he's going to be the only one left. He doesn't check his corners, and he gets gunned down, and overtime awaits us. We know exactly how Melly Jenny loves to say this, screaming, overtime! And that's exactly what's going to happen, as both teams tied up 6-6. And what looked like it could be Liquid putting it away. We could still have a third map ahead of us, Michael.
Absolutely right, Parker. It's entirely possible. But this is the first overtime for this series so far. It's going to be basement, and it will be Mantis who get to defend first. And I would call that a disadvantage, all things considered. That gym defense was pretty solid, but I think it was mostly just a really bad attack from Liquid, and I'm hopeful for their sake that they're going to be able to adjust things moving forward. One of the most inefficient attacks I've seen in a while onto gym, as a matter of fact, and all that needed to be done there is a little bit of droning way earlier in the round. Probably would have seen a different result. But no. It'll be a basement hold here from Mantis. Go figure. This is their best site, hands down. They should be able to take this one, push themselves onto map point. That'll force Liquid to go onto defense next, and they should also win the basement defense. Do not believe any team has won an attack onto the basement in this series, and yep, nope, no one's won attacking bottom floor. So, Team Liquid could give us something amazing here and win an attack on the bottom floor, which would pretty much secure the map in the series. Or the expected will happen. Both teams win bottom floor defense, then Mantis FPS has to either hold gym or cash, both of which look really difficult, despite that win that we just saw from Mantis on gym.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser. Attackers are moving out to
It's a coin toss, right? At that point.
Yeah, it really is. I think the gym defense is probably going to be Mantis' best bet once they get there, if they get there. But, I don't know. Again, I think that Liquid had a really bad attack strategy in their gym assault, and I think that they're probably going to be able to adjust into a different one moving forward.
So we'll see exactly what Nesk is capable of accomplishing here. Is his eyebrow-raising 4K is something that a lot of, I guess, players would probably be a bit proud of, but for Nesk, it's just another day at the office.
Reloading.
Yep.
That's all.
He gets a lot of those.
He does.
Exceptionally talented player.
I was going to say, I was worried that you were going to see another C4 go up there, and we were going to catch a very first-hand glimpse at it.
I like that game knowledge there from Nesk. He knew exactly where he needed to prone, knew the angle he needed to shoot to get that default camera.
For people like him, it's routine, right?
Yep, it is. Yeah. It's just impressive to see, no matter the situation.
There's
basic stuff, though.
Those small things can be so impressive.
Yeah, and they can, and really influential. I mean, how many times have we seen that exact default cam actually influence the outcome of a round?
A lot.
A lot. It's one of the more potent ones, and because of that, taking out the camera before you even start pushing the main hallway, very important.
So Gohan inside of blue is a pretty typical spot for him to play. He's just going to wait to see if there's anybody behind the machinery at the bottom of the stairs. It's going to peek on out. That's where Nova's going to play. And the Jaeger will be fully extended and prone on the ground, but none of his body parts or appendages will show to the ACOG site of that F2. The rest of Liquid arranged in various positions to begin their assault, most of whom tend to be on that main stairs. You've still got all the hard destruction as well from both Zig and Sexy Cake, and it will likely be a church take unless the read is clear that B is free enough to push onto.
Neska's going to have to take a gamble here with that if he decides to open it. There are 2 Arsenal defenders deep on the east, and that's going to be the perfect counter to a push here from Nesk if he decides to commit. He has opened up the wall, sees no enemies close. Still, though, not going to be an easy push. Inside a tunnel is Gohan, and he gets an easy kill on a Sweet Black, who doesn't seem to be paying much attention. Adjustments, though, from the defense, and Hetty's going to get a double kill onto Paula and Sexy Cake. That is a huge shutout from Hetty. Fantastic round so far from him. Gohan misses a shot there, but finally landed onto Neilio through the smoke. Very impressively done. Nova's going to shut down Nesk because he tries to come from the main stairs. Nova also trying to deny the push into B. He's got a lot of teammates to make this happen. Hetty and Envy Taylor shut out the last 2 attackers. And Mantis FPS win the round they're supposed to, defending the basement.
What a sloppy round from Liquid.
Well, true.
Like, my big takeaway there is just what an immense amount of sloppiness that was.
Yeah, I'm not going to dispute that. I completely agree.
Nesk saw that there was a rotate over towards Pulse Spot from what appeared to be, I believe it was the Legion that he caught. Doesn't capitalize on it. Doesn't see anybody playing there. Doesn't drone end a hallway where the Jaeger is playing. You have 2 bodies stacked up with the smoke still available. Inside a tunnel, Gohan rotates all the way around from blue stairs. Over to tunnel, gets a kill, gets 2 kills actually, if I recall. Just overall, a mess for Liquid. And it's not that difficult to be able to respond when you see all of these mistakes being committed. Which is what happened from Mantis FPS. They dove on every opportunity that was presented to them.
Yeah, I agree. At the same time, I mean, this is the round they're supposed to win, Parker. Defending the basement is defending the basement on Clubhouse. You should be taking that. And in this match, we have yet to see anyone successfully attack the basement. So, with the tactical timeout coming in from Liquid, I don't know if this is the perfect moment for it, to be honest with you. Maybe after the following round would be a good time, because they should win this hold downstairs. Team Liquid should win this. It should be a pretty easy one at that. If they do lose, of course they're going to lose the map, but they should be planning for their last round, and hopefully, for Liquid's sake, that's what they did do. This is curious though. Nova going to be bringing a blitz, and he's 6-picked into it, so he doesn't want Liquid to know that he's bringing that blitz, which is going to make it a little bit more powerful, and then it's got the surprise factor, at least for a moment. It is a very loud operator, so Blitz will give away his existence pretty quickly into the round.
One of the benefits of extending these games so long is that these kill counts will just soar.
Yeah.
Envy Taylor, 14 kills, 10 assists.
Yeah. He's having a really good match, and you can see he's only got 6 deaths. He's only died on the rounds that his team has lost. Very impressive.
Worthy of a golf clap.
5 seconds remaining.
There you go. All right, so it's another church defense. You speculated correctly. Both teams will likely win their church defense, and then a flip of the coin as to where... Hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
You speculated correctly about the first round of defense. You also speculated correctly that both teams will go to church to start things off with. That's 2 wins for you, Michael.
Okay.
Now the real question is, how does Mantis do on this take? Because you need Liquid to win in order for your prediction to hold true.
Well, this round, yeah. As far as overall...
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
Need them to win right here.
So
that we go to round 15.
Mm-hmm. As far as overall, I wouldn't be surprised if either team manages to take it. I mean, this has been a really close contest. Mantis FPS clearly proving they're good on this map. Liquid the same thing. This is a good map for both teams. And, yeah, I mean, that's the end of that story. I think the blitz play could be the thing that allows Mantis FPS to push past the, well, conventional and win this round. Because, again, nobody has won an attack onto the bottom floor. You need some kind of tool to give you an edge, and blitz is definitely going to be one of those.
Recon work here from Gohan as that 9-meter range of the pulse sensor is going to be used to good measure. It's a successful impact trick on the hatch above, and say goodbye to Sweet Black. Trying to give his team the best advantage possible, Gohan will start things off, using his explosives to the best of his ability, taking out the only set of frag grenades on Mantis' side, and also the soft destruction that works so well.
Yeah, that's...
Keep in mind that if you have Nelio running the breaching charges, that, well, you could still have quite a bit of soft destruction. And also, if you just got to see Nova's view of that drone, this could end up being really strong as the Mira is completely under watch. Now a second for NV Taylor will go on in. Zig could be very dead very quickly, but still the main hurdle for Nova is going to be to try and choke off this Mira window. And there you go. C4 gets tossed out. It won't go off, and the Blitz is just sprinting in, his very namesake. As he walks on in, and there are the pings and the marks, but Nova will be gunned down, establishing a nice crossfire as Liquid with both Zig and Gohan there. But oh no, the Thermite is in! Hetty pulls out pistol, and it's a big volley! Hetty with 2, NV Taylor with 2! Palu, where are you? Get to sight! He's gonna be locked out, and Mantis will take the map and send us to border. Liquid, oh, you were in good position, but Mantis digging deep, and we still have another map. Lestream and Penta, you're going to have to wait for the time being, because this one, well, it's not over. Not yet.
Well, I guess you were right in the overall predictions. Mantis managed to take it. It was about as close as it could have been.
Sorry, say that again.
Blitz has a really low pick rate. In fact, one of the lowest picked, or the least picked attackers in all of competitive Siege. I mean, he just doesn't get brought a whole lot, and his potency is